JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 7th of August 2020. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Friday's afternoon session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, some of the charts that we looked at this morning, this week, yep, we'll see how everything's kind of playing around. And as always, guys, before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yeah, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. Now, jumping into the charts, now a quick update here on what's happening with the German DAX. So to be honest, not much, and it just continues to trade in the same area, slightly below the 21-day EMA. So the same kind of scenario, the same idea remains here, where we're waiting for a push above the 12,773 territory in order to aim for some higher levels, or if this somehow starts moving back down here, we will aim for the downside if we get a drop below the 12,254 level here, marked by the low of the 30th of July. So basically not much has changed since the since kind of this morning, and yep, the same kind of, and for the past 3 days, I mean, that's the same kind of idea, the same scenarios that we're looking at. So yeah, let's wait for those breaks. Now, jumping into NASDAQ 100. Now, yesterday I talked about NASDAQ, and basically what I was saying, that given that the index is kind of climbing higher, it's creating these all-time highs every day this week, the way we can play this one out is only if we look at the previous high and kind of aim for some for the upside if that previous high gets broken. So basically yesterday this is exactly what we had. The index drifted above this 11,141 territory, 42 zone, roughly around there, and established a new all-time high here, which is roughly around the 11,282 zone. Now, if we take a look at the cash index, and the price is currently a little bit on the lower side, slightly. So it's currently trading at around 11,225 zone. So basically, we'll probably get ourselves a nice opening gap here to the downside. However, don't get me wrong, it still could move higher, especially if it overcomes this 11,282 zone. But as I said, we'll aim for the upside, but we'll do it very carefully because, like I said, we are kind of hitting these uncharted territories, so it's quite difficult to find a possible resistance zone. So for now, keep your eyes on the 11,282 zone. A nice good pop above it could, yep, open the door towards higher areas. In case this suddenly starts dropping sharply to the downside, well, I mean, the low of yesterday here near the 11,090 zone might open the door towards lower areas. So if we get a drop below this 11,090 territory, then yep, we'll aim for the downside here. But again, this move lower could still be seen as a temporary correction before another leg of buying, because we are still trading above some of these upside lines here, and of course all of them are tentative, but one main one here, it will be this one here. So this one's taken from the low of the 23rd of March here. So keep your eyes on that one, and in a way any move lower could still be seen as up to this line could still be seen as a temporary correction. So Another thing to, of course, to mention before I kind of continue going further, we did get the NFP numbers, so the US jobs numbers. So the NFP number came out slightly better than the forecasted. So in a way, of course, this could be seen as a positive, and it is seen as a positive. However, it's still way below the previous reading, which got adjusted, and the previous reading was around 4,791,000, whereas the initial forecast was only for 1,600,000, but the actual number came out at 1,763,000. So yes, so like I said, beat the forecast, but still way below the previous reading. So again, the markets jumped initially on that news, but to be honest, it's not really the best as it would preferably be. But yeah, in a way, the markets are very cautious, investors are very cautious. So so yeah, we'll continue monitoring the situation. And to be honest, if investors are not going to find this as a very good indication, then we could see a bit of a rollover here, and we could see the index maybe drifting back down a little bit, which, to be honest, could be a bit of a healthy move here for the equity world. But of course, the unemployment came out a little bit, not of course, but the unemployment number came out a little bit better than the forecast. So, and the average hourly earnings also beat their estimates. So yeah, have a look at the calendar, guys. But in terms of this one here, the NASDAQ 100, then as I said, keep your eyes on the 11,282 zone. A nice pop above it could open the door towards higher levels, because this would confirm a forthcoming higher high. Now jumping into another index very quickly, so that's the DXY, and DXY is getting a boost here, but the question here is actually, is it the data, or is it the slight weakness in the equity markets that we're seeing today? So because as we know, the US dollar now is acting as a bit of a safe haven here. So yeah, we're seeing a nice push higher. So from the technical side, this is what I was saying, that if we get a nice rejection here from this 92.55 level, then keep your eyes on the 93.81 zone. If that gets broken, then yes, we could go for a bit of a larger correction here to the upside. Jumping into gold, so this is the kind of the effect that we're having here on gold due to the rising US dollar. So gold is declining a little bit, but that's okay. What I was saying previously, that in a way, if it drops below yesterday's low here near the 2035 zone, then yes, maybe we could consider a bit of a decline here to the downside. But again, this decline could still be seen as a temporary correction. So again, the fact that is similar story like with the NASDAQ here, we need to see a push above the recent, or should I say, push above the all-time high, which is currently at 2075 mark here. A nice good push above it would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and more buyers could be joining in. But again, at the moment, you can see that in the commodities stuck. So keep your in a way how we could help us out here. We could keep an eye on these two levels, so the 2035 zone on the downside and the 2075 level on the upside. So a break through one of those in a way could kind of trigger the next kind of short-term directional move. Quick update on silver as well. So silver did also reach a nice level here. So it hit a high, a new high for this week. It's not an all-time high for silver, so it hit a new high for this week. That's 29.86 level, from where it is now retracing back down. So again, similar story. We want to see how it's going to behave here. So if we want to aim for some higher levels, then then basically we need to wait for a push above this this high, the high of this week here, the current high of this week near the 29.86 level. In terms of the downside, we'll consider maybe a larger correction to the downside if the commodity starts falling below the high here, the high of 28th of July, or in other words the highest point of July, which is around the 26.20 zone, and then yes, we could aim for lower areas. Until then, guys, we're just not going to do anything here, to be honest. We're just going to continue observing this one and taking it very carefully. But if we do get a push above the current highest point of this week at 29.86, then yes, higher levels could be met, because this would confirm a forthcoming higher high. Quick update on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin has moved back to the almost to the high of last week, which is around the 12,097 mark. Kind of it's stuck here right now. It's stuck slightly below this level right here, the high of the 1st of August, which is around the 11,843 zone. So it did try to overshoot it a few times, but as you can see, the bears are pushing the rate back down. So in a way, for now, we're gonna take it as it is. If we get a break and we get a nice daily close above the 11,843, then yes, higher levels could be met. However, the more convenient level for us, after a break of which we could aim for the upside, could come from a break of the high of last week near the 12,097 mark. So keep your eyes on that one, guys. AUDNZD, very quickly. So I've talked about this pair in the beginning of this week, and I was telling you guys that this is going to be our main target for now, the 1.0880. The pair did try to make its way to that level on Wednesday, came very close to testing that, but fell just by a few pips of reaching it and reversed to the downside. However, it still remained above some of its key support levels. Well, this level right here, the 1.0755, which acted as a good resistance level previously. Now it kind of took the role of support. But to be honest, given that we have violated this level here, probably this needs to get adjusted. So no longer we're going to look at this level. We're going to capture this little low here, the low of the 3rd of August, which at the same time is also the lowest point of August, and a nice good drop below this area, below the 1.0718 zone, could do the trick for more sellers. So that's why, guys, for now, like I said, if we get a reversal here to the downside, anything up until this upside line taken from the low of the 18th of March could be seen as a temporary correction before another leg of buying. But if this upside line gets broken and the rate falls below the 1.0718 territory, then yes, lower levels could be met. But that's of course in the scenario of where we could consider the downside. But for now, all eyes are on the highest point of June here near the 1.0880. A nice good pop above it could open the door towards higher levels, guys. So be very careful here for now. We're getting very close to this area. If that gets broken, like I said, this would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and a further move higher could be possible. Now, US dollar against the Japanese yen, and here we're seeing a bit of a nice rebound. So this week I kept talking a lot about USDJPY because basically this pattern here could have been as a nice bullish flag, but again, I mean, at the same time, it still can be a nice bullish flag. The only thing is that to be kind of more on the safe side, I would prefer to wait for a push above the 105.94 level here before examining the upside, and ideally a daily close could do the trick here for more buyers. So something to keep in mind, guys. So for now, yes, it could be seen as a nice bullish flag. However, let's be very careful. Let's wait for that confirmation break, and let's wait for that daily candle to stay above this area in order to kind of aim for slightly higher levels. In terms of the downside, we'll take a very conservative approach and wait for a drop below the 104.51 zone in order to aim for some lower areas. US dollar against the Swiss franc. So quick update here. I talked about this one as well recently. So yeah, nice reversal here to the upside. However, again, the same story as I've mentioned recently, that we're not going to do anything here until it kind of climbs nicely above the 0.9184 level. Until then, we're just going to continue observing this, because What we don't want to get here is a possible range where it will travel a little bit higher here, test the 0.9184 level, maybe even overshoot it, but then still close and still end the daily candle below this area, and then it will reverse back down. So then this is how we will get ourselves a bit of a range here. So some traders might get caught out on this one. So that's why I wait for that daily close above this area first, and then we could consider a bit of a larger correction to the upside. And finally, EURUSD. So this one is dropping nicely to the downside, confirming the range idea that I spoke about yesterday and the day before yesterday. And basically, for now, we're aiming for that lower side of the range here, roughly around the 1.1725 zone. We'll keep an eye on it here. We'll see how it performs. If this provides a decent support, then yep, great news for the buyers. It could rebound and push maybe back to the upside. However, if this 1.1725 territory fails to provide support and breaks, then this opens the door towards a bit of a larger correction here to the downside, guys. So towards this upside support line taken from the low of the 14th of May, and then if we reach that, I will reevaluate this again. So guys, I really hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for watching and listening. I hope, like I said, I hope you stay safe, guys. I hope both health-wise and market-wise. Don't overtrade. It's Friday. Go home. I mean, relax, and or if you're already at home, but in general, try to relax, clear up your mind for next Monday, and everything will be okay. So have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Let's catch up on Monday. As always, my trader is Espresso, 6 o'clock GMT time. Thank you very much, and bye.